December 5th, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Is pretty low volume and it's just kind of choppy. I didn't see too many setups and I actually took 2 trades and get into those. Overall, the market just looked like it was range bound pretty much from 6107. Actually, you could probably argue it's probably 6104 roughly down to 6090, 9091. It's at about 14 points of very, very slow price action, very, very slow movement. There's only one piece of economic data that came out, which is at 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here. Didn't really do that much, which was the unemployment claims. And then the rest of the day was just kind of a slow slog. I couldn't find any real big channels. Even this one I wasn't too sure of. That's how come it's not colored in. But there's all these little short trend channels, and this was like 2 legs, but it made a 3rd leg. So if you did draw it as a bigger channel, to be honest, it doesn't really help you in the trade or finding a trade because there's only 1 touch, 2 touch, not really a 3rd touch confirmation. And you might have argued there's 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch on the high side. Maybe if you include this one's a 4th touch. The problem with this is a clearly bearish, clearly bullish move. So to try to look for a setup, you're obviously looking to go short. It'd be counter trend to this, and it's just riskier. So I was playing with that for a little while, but I actually deleted it later. So going into the trades, now the pre-market, this is just very hard to trade. If this is in regular trading hours, this is pretty much noise. This is junky. This is very hard to trade. Because also if you look at the total range for this, 60.97 to about, let's just say, being optimistic, 60.92. So this is 5 points of noise. And you can see these candles are really large. Plus the ATR today in regular trading hours really never spent any time above 2. So it was mostly in the 1 to 150, 170, 1.75, as you can see up here. It was really, really slow. Price action is very tight. It was very hard to try to get a runner or try to, you'd have to be very patient to make sure the setup is pristine before you take a trade because this ATR being so small, I mean, even if it's a small risk because the candles are smaller, you're just going to be sitting in probably just waiting a lot. And that's kind of what happened to me today. So this noise here, it's not even worth drawing short and trend channels in this because there's only maybe 1 or 2 confirmations. So this is just noise. It's nothing worth trading if this was in regular trading hours. Fortunately, it was in the pre-market, so I didn't have to really worry about this. But when I, first look at the charts, I saw this crazy noise. So I was like, wow, I think today is going to be pretty much range bound. But in the pre-market, it pushes up on this green up channel, break, tries to make test the new high, 2nd attempt, and then it kind of pushes down. At this point, we see something like this. Drew this yellow trend. I drew this yellow up channel because it has 1 touch. I don't really know if it touches or not because it was kind of being tweaked gradually, but for sure it's kind of obeying this yellow up channel. Prices move up. And it kind of sets up this first setup that I thought was a possible trade, but I wasn't, too sure about it. So really, it makes a localized swing high because you do have a new high here, 1st entry long pullback, 2nd entry long. Technically, you have a higher low, but it's a bad signal bar. And by this time of the day, I'm not really sure yet. But by the time this happens, I'm a little more confident. So it's a new high, 1st entry long, pullback. You create a 2nd entry long. It's a possible trade, possible failed 2nd entry short confirmation, higher low. What do I mean? If you took a localized new low here, new swing low, 1st entry short, pullback, 2nd entry short. 2nd entry short kind of is about to fail decisively right here, but then it pushes down and pushes up. So this is potentially a higher low confirmation of the failed 2nd entry short. And after the break the screen down channel, it looks like there's 2 attempts. 1 attempt up, pullback, 2nd attempt up, then another flush down. So it could be 1 leg down, 2 attempts up, another leg down, and it might be resuming this push back up. So this is what you see in real time though, bouncing off the yellow up channel, and it's kind of closed right at the EMA. The only other real thing going for it is it's 5 ticks, so it's relatively low risk, but I didn't want to take it. If it closed at the high like a hammer, then I think I might have been more inclined to jump on this. Pushes up, would have been a nice tidy scalp. breaks above this yellow up channel, even if you extend it or try to encapsulate it right to here to try to capture it, is still clearly an overshoot unless you pushed it all the way to the top. But then you really don't have any kind of indication, any kind of added information by this resistance of this yellow up channel. So I kept it down here, treated it as an overshoot, and it's pushing back down. First entry long, technically have a second entry long. You know, when there's an overshoot here, you're thinking it's going to make a symmetrical one, and the overall trend is going up. So you're thinking it might go back into this yellow up channel. And so it kind of creates a first entry long, second entry long, technically a third entry long, but there's no real setup here. I mean, you could take an aggressive trade because it's a decent signal bar, and it's only 4 ticks with enough room for the EMA. But what I'm worried about is if it ticks up to here, is it going to reject? So I definitely left it alone. And also there's a green down channel. It could test the new low again. So it's just conflicting information. So I'm just sitting on my hands. If you went long for 1 point, you would have gotten a scalp. If you waited for this and decided to go short, thinking a test of this green down channel low, you would also have gotten a scalp. But this also wasn't the nicest signal bar. Pushes down, goes down on this orange down channel. So it bounces off the pre-market low, which is kind of interesting. So I'm thinking when we're going to be range bound from pre-market lows to probably pre-market highs with this failed breakout. And it sets this up. So it's a new low, say first entry short pullback. It's about to create a second entry short. It's also a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. So the second entry long hasn't failed. Second entry short hasn't been confirmed yet. There are 2 key entry points. EMA is kind of flat, so it doesn't really tell you that much. But I also don't like that the signal bar for both setups, second entry long is a doji, second entry short failure is also a doji. Side by side, it feels sketchy. You could be at the top of a developing trading range, but you don't have that much confirmation yet. So you can't really trust that this is anything meaningful yet. So I thought it was an almost trade. Here, now you have a confirmed second entry short and a failed second entry long, but as I said, you have doji candles, just nothing I really like. If you decide to take a trade, you might have gotten your 1 point scalp, but it's very questionable. Here, you probably would have gotten it, but then you have to sit through this noise. It starts to push up on this green up channel, break. So I'm thinking a test of this high. And so I actually took my first trade here. So this green up channel broke, and I saw actually there's 2 legs. It's not 2 decisively technically drawn legs, but I'll kind of go through my thinking right here. Also, it bounced off the EMA, and the signal bar here, although it's bearish, closed at the high. So it's kind of like a bullish, bearish candle. So this is what I saw though. It's coming off the bottom. On a larger tick chart, you see 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. It looks like it's range bound. This orange down channel has played out. Made 1 attempt down, made a second attempt down. Technically, it didn't make a new low, but this might be good enough. Looks like it's 2 legs down, 1 leg up, 2 legs down, a huge leg up. So clearly this thing here, this big leg up, might be the start of a new trend and might be in play. So how did I see a second entry long and a higher low here? So I saw this as a new high. It closed here, opens here, and then closes up here. So technically you have a first entry long. Then it opens right where it closed previously on this red candle. First entry long, opens here, flushes down, closes right here. There's a first entry long pullback. Then on the next candle, it opens here. So it now has made it first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long in real time. Then it kind of pushes down, moves 1 tick below, closes back up near the high. So it created a higher low to this visual, very tight second entry long. I liked it. I saw it open. I wanted to make sure it broke above this guy before I entered. So I actually opened here, flushed down, ticked above my my intended entry, which is the high of this candle. It kind of ticked above. I dropped my order in, hoping to get filled. Came back, filled me. I had to sit through this candle. I liked that it was holding on the EMA. Then it flushed up. I quickly got out. I didn't bother with a runner in this trade because it's already really tight trading. The follow through wasn't a very decisive, strong push up. Plus, when this filled and came back down, I was already intending not to take a runner on this because if you look at the highs here, it's 99.50. My entry was 96.75. So I'm not confident that I'm really going to get that much of a runner. I might just, give up some profit. So I took the whole position off right here. But as you can see, if I kept the runner and my stop would have been down here, I would have been able to chase it up. But of course, you don't know that at the time. When prices continue moving up, moves up on this yellow up channel. And I also noticed that it looked like it created a measured move from here to here, and then from here to here. It's like to the tick, measured move. I'm thinking the uptrend may have played out. Clearly, it's the top of this potential range because the range might be up here instead of the pre-market range. I'm watching carefully. I'm expecting a test of this yellow up channel high. The first entry long, and then here creates a second entry long, new low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short, higher low. Unfortunately, you don't see all this until after the fact, until this candle finally forms and closes. That's where I actually saw, okay, that's actually higher low, failed second entry short, new low, first entry short, right here, second entry short, pull up, push up, new high, first entry long, pull back, second entry long creates a higher low because it ticked one tick below and then flushed up. Even if you took it on the engulfing, I find this a very risky trade because you already made the measured move. The uptrend might have played out. Plus, you're encroaching on the all-time highs, also the high of day. So I didn't think there was really a trade here, but I guess I was looking at it, debating it, but I could justify taking an entry right here. But I just want to mark it as an almost trade. The measured move has already been made. I'm glad I didn't take it because there's just really no room to take it after this. Even if you decide to take it at the highs here, you'd be entering at 61.30.25, and your exit is also 61.4.25. So you'd have to ask for it to move not only to here to get you out, but move one tick above. In this case, it worked, but you don't know that at the time. So I'm just glad I didn't tempt fate. So it moves, it looks like it's a failed breakout here. I'll just go ahead and draw this for now because I was thinking, okay, there might be actually be a larger trading range, something to this effect. So it's a first entry long, second entry long. It's a bad signal bar to go long on. I was wondering if I'm going to get a failure and a push below the EMA because it looks like it might be a failed breakout pushing back into range. So it is a failed second entry long. I'm looking for a higher low now, and I never get the higher low. It moves. It looks like it's a spike in channel, more shallow than more aggressive push down. Now it's just sitting on your hands, and unfortunately, I couldn't have jumped on this unless I just trusted that this is going to be a failure on the second entry long right here. But you don't really know that. You do have the idea that it's a failed breakout, but there's this EMA here that's acting as support and was pretty reliably, well, not reliably, but was acting as a potential support. So I don't want to see a bounce here and then another push up. So unfortunately, there's no way to enter for me. Pushes down, kind of bottoms down here, break of this yellow down channel, tests, matches the low. First entry short. Technically, it's about to create a second entry short. Now, I looked at this and I marked it with a black arrow because I was thinking, is there a second entry short? There's two legs up here. It exceeded the measured move. There's enough room to the EMA for quick scalp. It's a good signal bar. I just wanted at least this to have ticked one tick up and then flush down, or move one tick below this guy, ideally. Because on the setup like this, in a different context, if this, let's say the measured move was made up to, let's just say it was up to here, then I feel more confident. It's like bouncing off a measured move. But since it looked like it's just making a matching, same size candle, I needed a break below or I needed a break above. And that didn't quite happen. So I didn't quite mark it, just sat there and looked at it. Looks like if you did enter, let's see, it's one. If I want a 1 point scalp, I needed to go 60, 96, 50 at least. And it's debatable whether you would have even gotten out. And after this candle, you likely would have gotten stopped out because it would have moved one tick up. If not, one of these guys would have definitely stopped me out. Prices then move up, starts flushing down. The first entry long, pull back. You have a second entry long, bad signal bar, nothing really here. Get a higher low of failed second entry long, second entry long, higher low, but it's a bad signal bar. Prices move up. Looks like it's another two legs up. So here you have a new localized high. It's a first entry long pullback. It creates a second entry long. The second entry long, I thought, okay, this definitely is a second entry long, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You have a break this orange down channel, one attempt down. I'm thinking there's going to be a second attempt down on this orange down channel, but it did create a second entry long, pushes above the EMA. EMA isn't very reliable yet, or at all at this moment, because it's just going sideways. So then it's like first entry long pullback, second entry long. Could there be a second entry long failure? It doesn't quite, so it creates a first entry long, second entry long. It didn't create a failure in the second entry long, but it also didn't create a second entry short yet, but it's about to. So here it still hasn't created a second entry long failure. So now it definitely has created a failure in the second entry long. So it's one push down, first attempt down, pull back, second attempt down, first entry long, second entry long failure, new low, first entry short, second entry short. Okay, so there's like an almost set up here, because here I'm not going to take this trade because it's an inside bar. I don't have any full confirmation yet. First, the second entry long hasn't failed yet. Second entry short hasn't been confirmed yet. Now it's confirmed. So now I'm looking for a lower high because I'm thinking of going short. It ticks one tick up and flushes down. So I'm thinking, okay, this is actually a rather decent setup. I like that it closed low. This signal bar is only 4 ticks. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to jump in on this trade, but I want to make sure it ticks below this candle before I enter. So it opens here, it moves up. EMA kind of starting to act like resistance. It pushes below this doji, which is bearish, four tick risk. I enter, I drop my order here. It comes back, picks me up, which is awesome. And it flushes down and hits my profit target. So I do have a runner here. So my stop loss is here. I move it down to not here, but right here and one tick below. Unfortunately, it comes down and then it stops me out. I was hoping for another bigger move down, but in reality, how much more do you think is really going to move? The whole day, it's just been sideways. So maybe it'll move down to here. You get a few more, points, but seeing a huge sell-off, I didn't think was likely. So in hindsight, I think I should have just taken the whole position off here, and I would have gotten, more profit than giving back a little bit on the runner. Actually, I didn't give back any. I just break even on it. The prices then move up, flushes up, and then finally pushes down. Then it just kind of chops sideways. There was this loose down channel, trend channel going down, but it didn't fit quite nicely. So it looks like you just have an overall bias of going downwards, but there's no clean setups that I could see. It kind of looks like it's a spike in a channel, pushes and consolidates. And then you can tell from here, this is like 12:30 Pacific Standard all the way to 12:50. So this is 20 minutes of trading, 20 minutes of slow price action. Then the last 10 minutes, it kind of goes into the close. The volume and the price action itself today was very slow. This is the total amount of candles in this white zone in 6.5 hours of trading. If you just take a tool, the measurement tool, and just stay at the beginning, 6.5 hours of trading on the 1 minute chart would be about 420 candles. And here you only get 275 bars. So if at least one of these candles are printing every minute, you'd have at least 150 more of these candles. So you see maybe another this much more price action. And on really volatile days, you'll get a lot more. But today was just a really slow grind. Just happy that I got the 2 trades that I got. And it was just, it was a really slow grinding day. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it seems like everybody's either taking holiday off rather early. But yeah, it was, this whole week has been rather slow. So hopefully that was helpful.